One of the things that I am absolutely passionate about is limiting beliefs. And let's readjust that for a little bit. I'm not passionate about limiting beliefs. I am passionate about clearing limiting beliefs from your body, mind, and spirit and replacing them with expanding beliefs that change your life. But humans are really funny in that I try to convince you that clearing limiting beliefs is like the most revolutionary thing that can happen in your life and huge benefits happen on the other side of clearing beliefs. It's actually not as motivating because that is a new world, all right? On the other side, it's a new world from the comfortable world that you're already living in. It's actually not as motivating as if I were to lay out some of the costs of staying the same with your current limiting beliefs. So I'm going to do a video series. This is part 1 of the costs of limiting beliefs that are playing out in your life. Some of them may surprise you. Now, it is tricky because limiting beliefs are not always obvious. Sometimes they come up in negative thoughts that we have throughout the day or judgments. Even those, if we're so busy during the day, we might not catch them. But limiting beliefs are really, really sneaky because they actually exist mostly in our subconscious mind and in our bodies, our spirit, our body. They're not in our conscious mind most of the time. So I'm going to give out some costs of limiting beliefs that are playing out in your life that you may not be aware of, in hopes that it builds up maybe some frustration or awareness of just seeing the cost of not clearing the limiting beliefs to make that greener pasture on the other side of clearing a little bit more appetizing. So, I'm Sarah Tomlinson, the girl with many secrets, artist, advocate, and speaker, here to inspire and empower you on your healing journey. So I'm going to be laying out just a couple costs in this part 1 video of this series, and the rest of the series will cover a few more costs. I do believe that information is most taken in small chunks. So here we go with the first few costs of your limiting beliefs. Okay. Before I start with a cost, I would like to give a definition of what a belief is. A belief is the acceptance of something that is true. So the first cost of not clearing your limiting beliefs is limiting beliefs keep you in the past. So if a belief is the acceptance of something that we take for truth, we think about when a belief was made in our lives. It was made in the past. In fact, most of our limiting beliefs come from when we were growing up as children and adolescents. We just took them as something that was true about us and true about the perceptions of the world. Now, some of these truths and beliefs do change, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them get stored in our subconscious. And a lot of these things had to do, especially in school. I like to say that school is okay at showing what people are good at, but really good at showing what people are not good at. And we store that as truths. So we have these truths about our abilities, about our potential, about what we're good at. And a lot of them were made in school. A lot of them were made while we were growing up in our early social experiences. And we held these as truths. And we are now living these truths as adults. So they actually keep us in a past version of ourselves. But here's the thing, we are not rigid. These truths that we're holding about ourselves are rigid, but we are not. We're fluid. We're meant to expand. We're meant to have this potential, that's formless potential that flows out of us into our life. And these truths that we're holding in our body, these are energetic truths in our subconscious, in our body, they're keeping us in the rigidity of a past version of ourselves, preventing our formless soul potential from bursting out into the world. So this belief was made in a time that no longer exists. The past no longer exists, but we're holding on to it. The circumstances have changed, we've changed, the situation where we first made that belief has changed. So here we are, this mixed version of this past, present, and our future self. But if we're not clearing our limiting beliefs, what's dominating our life is our past versions of ourselves. And what we want to dominate our life is not the past version, not the past vibration. And keep in mind, these beliefs are often made, especially when we're younger, in negative situations, right? The fact that they're limiting, they're contracting, they are very low vibration, dense energy compared to this formless potential that we could have. So what we do want to be made of instead, if we clear limiting beliefs, we leave space for our present and our future self to fill in that space. So our current vibration should be made of more of our present and future self to keep moving in the world, to keep expanding, to keep having new experiences and new people being brought into our reality. Okay, so this is just the first cost of holding on to limiting beliefs, is it keeps our vibration in a past version, in a dense version of ourselves. And this makes it very hard to bring in new things, to change old habits, to try new things in our life. Now, I don't want to say that it is a bad thing, because we also have to understand where they were made from. They were likely made in a situation that was negative to keep you safe. So it's really important to forgive and realize that the past version of ourselves was just doing the best they could in the circumstances and the knowledge that they had, right? This is why we don't hate on past versions of ourselves. We send love to that version, but we also send love and let it go. We don't have to worry about what we're going to do on the other side of clearing beliefs. Clearing the past energy, clearing the past version of ourselves will leave room for that formless potential and creative energy inside of you to take up space in your life, bringing up your energy to a higher vibration in the present and future. This is why the process of clearing limiting beliefs is an ongoing process, right? I do it regularly because I am constantly moving and I'm constantly expanding and I'm constantly wanting to have that new formless potential come up inside of me and express itself. So I'm constantly clearing past versions, past beliefs of myself to bring up my energy and vibration and consciousness as much as possible to the present and the future direction that I'm headed to. Okay, and the second and final cost that I'm going to mention in this part 1 video is related to the first one. Because limiting beliefs keep us in this past vibration, they keep our reality cycling in old patterns. Now, this could be old habits that we're unhappy with, or repeated external events that come into our reality over and over and over again. And we could be reacting to them in a similar way as well. Now, because the limiting beliefs are made usually in past circumstances, usually in circumstances that felt unsafe, right? Oftentimes limiting beliefs are actually meant to protect us. Usually the things that are being brought back into our reality, because these cycled patterns, they are undesirable, right? So the things that are being brought into our reality from our limiting beliefs are undesirable. So second cost is repeating patterns in our life that actually cause us some negative emotions. They cause us to react. They cause us to bring us down. So unwanted negative patterns is a cost of limiting beliefs. So just remember that the universe is energy-based, it's vibration-based, right? So as I mentioned in cost 1, limiting beliefs are keeping our system and our body and our mind at a lower vibration. The energy will bring us things into our environment, into our realm of physical reality based on the energy of our body. So it's a benefit to clear limiting beliefs that are lower in energy so that new soul energy can replace it that is higher in energy. New higher vibration experiences, circumstances, and people into our reality. In terms of law of attraction and our entire energy and our makeup, right? Our thoughts are just a small portion of it. So people say that our thoughts can absolutely, kind of create our reality. Our thoughts can direct our way that our life goes, how our day goes. And the mind and conscious thoughts do have an impact. They do. It's not as much impact as the subconscious mind and actually as the energy of the body. So during my limiting beliefs clearing workshops, I don't just tackle the mind, I tackle the subconscious and I tackle the energy of the body through different practices and meditations. It's so important to do this. So we clear that negative energy, we clear repeated patterns in our life this way. The universe will bring you things into your reality that match your current vibration. So this is a cost. If you're holding a lower vibration from past versions of you, these limiting beliefs that were made from negative events, the universe is reading that from your energy and bringing events into your reality that match that. Now, I want to give an example of Sarah Tomlinson's dating adventures. So I've been dating a little bit this year and, dipping my feet back in the water. So I've had little bouts. I tend to kind of go in and check it out and then take a break. But my first little bout, I dove in and I went on some dates and stuff. And they were actually, all of the dates I went on were either almost past versions of myself in a male body, like reflections of me, but in male bodies, or reflections of men of my past. And if you know that I'm an advocate, an abuse advocate, reflections of the past men I've dated is not a positive experience for me. This is obviously an undesirable experience, and it's not to say that these are wasted experiences. With awareness, so even though I had not done enough clearing, clearly, if I was still bringing this into my reality, there are still lessons involved in this, right? We have acceptance of ourselves. We have acceptance for where we are. We have acceptance for where we've been. As I've mentioned, it's so important to have acceptance and love for where we've been in life. But with awareness, and because I'm clearing limiting beliefs, because I'm clearing these past versions of myself, I can say thank you for the experience, and I actually build confidence in knowing that I'm not going to see this again, right? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep healing, and I can deal with this pattern that I have in my life in a better way than I have. In other words, with boundaries. In other words, just releasing them and letting them go and seeing actually what they were, which is undesirable dating opportunities. We see that pattern showing up. We get to react differently to it. This is also a part of it. We react and respond differently than a past version of ourselves. And so then I took a break. As I mentioned, I kind of take a break and I worked on myself and I clear limiting beliefs, and I also get caught up in what I'm presently doing. And I really invest myself into my present projects. So that's sort of what I do. I constantly clear and I really invest and dive and focus in the present moment as much as possible and really enjoy what I'm doing. And the next time, and this is how I know things are working and things are going well, then the next time I went on a date, it's a completely different story, and it is exactly the energy and the style of like this healthy masculine presence and energy that showed up in my life. So I actually it was a sort of a relief that it was working in my life. So the clearing and healing is working when the repeated patterns are changing, you're reacting and responding to them differently. If I wasn't clearing and I wasn't doing the healing work, I would have that first kind of batch of dates that I went on kind of repeated again and again and again. But it doesn't have to be that way. Our reality is feeding off our energy. The downside of this comfort zone is just these repeated events. So this is the cost. And then we stay in that vibration. The cost is this past just gets repeated over and over and over. But if we clear the past, which is completely possible from our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, and our body, it is totally possible to change our story, change our reality, and change what's brought in to your environment. And that is the greener pasture that I'm talking about. In this video, I laid out 2 costs, one that are related to each other. One is it keeps you in a past version of yourself, and the other one that's very related to it, it keeps these repeated patterns in your life. It could be from workplaces, it could be employees, it could be just interactions that you have in the world. It could be your own emotions and judgments and your own experiences. It could be maybe sickness that you're experiencing. It could be accidents that you have over and over again. With that, I just wanted to remind you to, if you're enjoying this video and you want to catch part 2 and part 3 of the costs of limiting beliefs, I want to remind you to hit that subscribe and the bell for future notifications when these videos get posted. You might be thinking, what do I do now? For now, awareness is the best thing. Awareness, and then this slight frustration might build in that you can actually do something. You can actually do something to change your life, to slough away all of these unwanted things that keep showing up in our life. We have the power to change our lives. If you'd like to get a jump start on this, I am having a limiting beliefs workshop this Sunday, March 20th. I've left a link, my link tree, in the description if you'd like to check that out. If you're watching this video after that date, I'm still leaving the link there, and you can see if there is a recent workshop coming up. This is a regular workshop I intend to do. I intend to go dive deeper into how limiting beliefs affect our lives, the impact they're having, where they come from. I've mentioned the subconscious a lot. I'm also going to be working on some tools to consciously clear them, as well as clear them from our subconscious, and to do some energy work to change our vibration in our body. If you found value in this video, I'm also going to remind you to hit that thumbs up. Stay tuned for parts 2 and part 3 of the costs of limiting beliefs. I'm Sarah Tomlinson, the girl with many secrets. Thank you for watching this video. I'm grateful for you. I hope it added value to your life. And I'm off for now, just sending lots of love on your healing journey.